Kayla Harrison, the two-time Olympic gold medalist, the two-time PFL champion, who's aiming for her third PFL world title, which all begins this Friday night at PFL 3. Kayla, great to sit down and catch up. How are things at you today?
Yeah, thank you. Things are good. It's officially fight week again, finally, after quite a bit of a hectic layoff. So now I'm kind of in heaven. It's like quiet. I sleep in. No kids are jumping on me. No dogs are barking. No chickens are like laying eggs. Like life is pretty like simple right now.
I did want to mention that actually, because the PFL season, it lasts around about 6 months, but then you
Yeah.
guys kind of have a half-year break. So what is that kind of off-season like for you? Because obviously you're someone who loves to compete. So is that a difficult time of the year almost?
I mean, yeah. I think the first, like usually, like I took a month off last year completely. Like I didn't go to the gym. I stayed away. I didn't go watch training or like I didn't do anything for a whole month. I didn't even run. Like that was it. I just let my body rest and recover. I spent time with my kids, went home to Ohio to see my family. And then after a month, I started training again, just once a day. And then in January, I picked it back up to 2 a days. But that's just because like, I think I would go insane if I didn't it was like 1 week of no training. And I was like, psycho mom. Like I was like cleaning the cabinets and like I had like Christmas was done and like there were like, super like it was like ridiculous. I was like just like going over the top with like something else instead of training. So it's good. It keeps me balanced.
Injuries aside, what's the longest time in your life that you've gone without training?
With no injuries?
If we kind of say and exclude a major injury that inhibits your training,
Yeah.
is there a moment you think you can think about?
I mean, maybe.
I think that's the answer right there.
Maybe a month. I mean, that's the longest I can. I mean, I know after the Olympic Games, I took time off, but I was still going to judo, just not like twice a day, every day, and lifting it. Like it was just like I would go a couple times a week, and if I missed practice one night, it wasn't a big deal, but I was still training. So,
Of course. Well, let's touch on the fight on Friday night, where, as I mentioned, PFL main event. First and foremost, there's a lot of big names on this card. Anthony Pettis, Rory McDonald, former world champion Ray Cooper, but Kayla Harrison is the main event. Kayla Harrison is the face on the poster. So what does that kind of say about your star power and your kind of place in the company, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously an honor. These are legends of the sport. These are superstars. I am very humbled to be the main event. I feel like I've earned it. I feel like I've made a name for myself at this point, and I've helped build the PFL and helped grow it. And you can't say PFL without Kayla Harrison, and you can't say Kayla Harrison without PFL. So I think it makes sense. But to be honest with you, like how late these cards go, I think I would rather be I'd rather be like the first fight of the night. I'm on mom time now, like 9 p.m. I'm like, oh, like drool is coming out of my mouth at 9 p.m. I'm in like REM sleep. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm very excited for it. I think it also speaks volumes of how far women's MMA has come, I was just talking about this in another interview the other day about how like it wasn't that long ago that women weren't even in the UFC, and now you have the boxing fight that just headlined MSG. I'm main eventing again, and there are men on the card. It's a good time to be a woman in this sport, and it's only going to get better. The good news is that as females, the sooner we as females figure out that we're all in this together and we're collectively bringing each other up, the better it's going to be. We're all striving to be the best versions of ourselves, and this is going to make it better and easier for the next generation, the next group of young girls coming in who are going to be even better than we are. It's exciting.
Of course. I think a lot of people would agree, correct me if I'm wrong, that in terms of women's combat sports, MMA is kind of a little bit further along, a little bit more developed than perhaps boxing. But having said that, how big of a night do you think Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano was for another discipline of combat sport?
I mean, it's historic, you know, it's historic in so many ways. And I think that, like, they couldn't have done a better job of raising the bar and elevating the sport of not just women's boxing, but boxing in general. And like, they couldn't have been better ambassadors for their sport, for our sex, for themselves, for their countries. Like, they couldn't have done a better job. I was like, I'm just so happy for them, to be honest. I'm so happy for them. And I'm pretty jacked up. Like, it's like, what a time to be a woman, you know, like you love to see it. You love to see it.
Yeah, of course. I couldn't agree more. If we touch on your fight first and foremost, how much do you know about your opponents, and what is kind of the skill set that you're most aware of coming in?
I think room service, or yeah, we're good. Oh no, she's here. Hang on.
As I mentioned there, Kayla, Friday night you're back in action. What are your opinions on your opponent and her skill set?
Yeah, I think, you know, Marina's a tough opponent. Everyone is tough until you beat them. There's no such thing as an easy fight. She brings some different stuff to the table that I'm looking forward to. Like, you know, she does a lot of leg locks and she does a lot of spinning stuff, and she's a Sambo veteran and world champion. So I'm grateful for her, because she made me close up some holes in my game that, I mean, I had done a little bit of leg lock stuff. I hadn't spent a ton of time on it. Had never really seen a ton of spinning back fists or things like that. So she's just making me a better fighter, a better version of myself. And I look forward to going out there and testing myself against her.
Of course. It seems almost a little bit of a strange thing for Kayla Harrison to say that she thinks she has holes in the game because your game looks so complete on the television. If we say 6 months ago when you lifted the world title and the $1 million, what would you say right here, right now, were your biggest holes in your game that you feel like you've shored up?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think a big milestone, or so I've been sparring with Pedro Munhoz for the last for most of this camp, and even some out of camp. Like, we would spar once a week, and I will tell you that he has cured me, I think, of the fear of battle. Almost, like, I think my range has improved exponentially. I think my level of comfort and composure has improved, and also just like my ability to deal with adversity. Like, were days in sparring where I left and I thought that I had been in a real fight, you know, like he hits very hard. He's got great takedown defense. He's got great submissions. He's a pressure fighter. Like, it was hard, you know, and those are the days that I grew the most, where I had to deal with that adversity and kind of like there were days where I got hit really hard and I was like, shit, I got to figure out a way to win this round, you know, to try to win the round. I mean, I didn't, but I tried, you know? So no, I think that's been a big leap for me, is that I kind of have more, I would just say more composure. Like, I have more confidence. Like, if I can spar with one of the top 5 guys in the world, like, you know, I'll be all right.
Yeah, of course.
What are they gonna do? Throw a kitchen sink at me? Like, they probably still wouldn't hit me as hard as Pedro does.
On that subject, and I want to be very careful how I ask this question, but on that subject, you've been so accustomed in your career to such early finishes and such dominant displays. Even the Larissa Pacheco fight that went to decision were dominant in your favour. Has it almost in a way been difficult to improve your skill set fight over fight because you finish fights so quickly?
No, I think that the difficulty lies, for me, the challenge lies in emulating the fight. Like, it's hard to find partners. You know, I'm a very big girl. Like, guys, no matter how good of a girl you are, it's a different, you know, they're not going to go, it's different. It's different. there's a small number of girls in the world who you can train with, and they all have their own camps. Like, so finding a way to emulate the anxiety and adrenaline and pressure of fight night has been tough for me. But I think that, it's good. It's good. I feel like, no, I've continued to get better. And the thing is, like, it looks so easy on fight night because I work so hard, like that. There's no secret. Like, you can ask anybody at the gym. I'm there more than all of them. Like, I'm the team captain for a reason. Like, I'm annoying. I don't go away. Like, I bring my kids. If my kids are sick, I don't miss practice for anything. So, the gym manager, Richie, gets mad at me. He's like, you have a sick kid here. Like, I'm like, yeah, guess what? You're a babysitting service too. Cause I'm not missing training. So, here's Coco Melon, you two enjoy. Like,
we've seen obviously this kind of back and forth between some other of the female superstars in some other divisions over the last couple of months. Obviously, you've had a back and forth with Cris Cyborg. I've seen a couple of bits with Julianna Pena. Obviously, I know Amanda Nunes is no longer training an American top team, but I'm not unfair or anything there. I'm just putting that out. But when you hear these girls in the other organizations, especially with people like Nunes and Cyborg who have had such storied careers, does it kind of speak to your star power that these girls are looking across the pond and saying that they want to fight you and that they're mentioning your name?
Yeah, of course. That's like such a compliment to me. And I think that, like, I mean, this is what I'm training for, this is what I'm trying to build to. I'm trying to see how high I can climb this mountain, and they're both at the top of it right now. And I want to climb right over them, and see how much further I can build it. And then eventually there'll be another girl that climbs above me. Like, that's the whole point of it, in my opinion. But no, I mean, it feels good, I guess. Like, I don't really care what they think of me. Like, I'm more just, I want to challenge myself. I want to fight the best, and they're the best. That's the best compliment I could give them. Like, I respect them, and I want to fight them.
Yeah, of course. I just wanted to touch on something else as well. I read an interview with yours a couple of days ago where you described MMA as judo on steroids, if memory serves. Obviously they're completely different sports in terms of perhaps the damage you can inflict in MMA, but
steroids is such a bad word to use, like, in this.
Like, I did think that, Kayla.
In the sporting world, like, I was like, I should have said, like, I don't even know. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
can you explain the difference? Obviously, as I say, you can inflict more damage in MMA. That goes without saying. But what essentially are the differences when you're in there in terms of competition?
Well, I just think that it's so all encompassing. It's like, you have to think of so many different things and be aware and be alert, and like judo. And also it might be because of my lack of experience, right? Like, I was doing judo since I was 6 years old. So most of it became muscle memory by the time I was a teenager. Like, it wasn't really, I was thinking like, okay, I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to watch out for this. Like, it just happened. And in MMA, I don't have that years of training to pull on in a fight. Like, I'm getting more and more to the point where it's muscle memory, but I just don't have the hours in it yet. So when I say it's judo on steroids, what I mean is it's the most intense version of the hardest game with the most rules and the craziest challenges, like, that you've ever done in your life, and there's another person in there who's trying to do the same stuff to you. It's like, it's a human chess match. And I used to say that about judo, but like, judo, I guess, was checkers and this is chess. I guess that's a
great analogy.
Better analogy than the steroids one.
When I saw that article, I thought there's one of two things. Either Kayla said something and perhaps used the wrong words, or it's a very clickbaity article, and it was the former.
Well, it was like, I mean, I said a lot of other stuff, but I said steroids, so that's going to be in the title, but whatever.
Of course. But we mentioned judo there. It's something I'd like to pick up on. because I don't know if you can talk about this, but I've heard a rumor that the PFL are planning some shows in the UK in the summer.
Oh,
Now, the last time you competed in a major competition in the UK was at the London 2012 Olympic Games. I believe
yes.
you won your gold medal in August. So
And
that would be around 10 years to the date of you.
holy shit. It's been 10 years since I won my first gold medal.
Yeah, London
Why
2012.
Why would you ruin
Way
my day
to
like that?
way to bring the mood down. Apologies, Kayla.
God, I'm so old.
How tantalizing would it be to come back and
No, I
perform
would
in the
love
UK?
that. You know, my kids, the adoption of my kids is official. I finally got their birth certificates so I can apply for their passports. That would be a fantastic to go to the UK for some, that would be fantastic. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, I've got one final question for you, Kayla, and it's a kind of a repeat of what we touched on last time. But I like to ask this question to PFL fighters, and it's obviously the PFL Championship is twofold. You can win the world title. You can also win the $1 million. So I asked you that question, what meant more, winning the world title or the $1 million? And your answer was 100% the world title.
Yeah,
Going into this season, what is the percentage base between the two?
no, I mean, I'm here to win. I'm not here to win money. I'm very blessed. You know, I've bet on myself my whole life. I turned, $200 into now millions of dollars. And I'm a firm believer that, if you want financial peace and financial abundance, you find your passion and you make it your purpose and you do what you love every day. And I'm very blessed. I worried about money. I've been poor. I've been broke. I've had $5 and negative $5, and I've overdrafted, and I've not known what I was going to do. And I've been in the middle of a foreign country, like trying to call home, but not having enough money to call home to like beg my mom for some money. Like I've been there, I've done it. So, I do believe that everything that is happening in my life now is because of my attitude and the gratitude that I have, the work ethic I have, the years of patience that I've had. And $1 million is great, but I'm doing this for legacy. I'm doing this for legacy, and I'm doing it for me. Like that's why I do it. And obviously the platform, I think that the platform that fighting gives me an opportunity to change the world the way to be better. And that's it. Money doesn't do it for me, man. I'm still the same. Like I still shop at Target, and like nothing has changed. I have more money than I ever thought I would have, and like way more money than I ever thought I would have in my entire life. And really nothing has changed. I'm going to buy a bigger house so I can have more animals. Like that's probably it. I'm going to buy some land so that I can like be around nobody.
Well, listen, it was fantastic to catch up. It's always great talking with you, and I think that's the best place for us to end. Congratulations, by the way, on the official adoption of the two kids. Congratulations on getting that documentation through, and I very much look forward to seeing you back in action on Friday night.
Thank you so much.
Before we finish, Kayla, how can people find you on social media, and any sponsor or anything like that you'd like to plug? The floor is yours.
You can find me on Instagram at Judo Kayla, on Twitter at Kayla H. My website is kaylaharrison.com. The foundation is fearlessfoundation.org. One big sponsor I do want to thank is Oxy Health. I recently just started using one of their hyperbaric chambers for recovery. I encourage you guys to go check it out. There's a lot of science behind it, and it's got me feeling like I'm back at that 2012 Olympic Games, ready to snap some necks and cash some checks. All right. I feel like I'm 22, not 32. So